I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but listen carefully. Tonight, right now, someone is sitting somewhere, silently crying, silently hoping that life will give them just one reason to keep going. And maybe you are the reason they're waiting for. I know that might sound dramatic, but let me tell you a story that changed the way I see everything. It was a cold Thursday evening, one of those days where the air feels heavy and even breathing feels like work. I had just finished a long shift at work, my mind completely cluttered with everything that was wrong in my life. The bills stacking up, the fight I'd had with a friend, the constant exhaustion of trying to hold everything together. I remember walking through the streets with my hood pulled up, earbuds in, shutting the world out because honestly, I felt like no one cared. Then I saw her. She was sitting on the edge of the curb, her hair falling forward, arms wrapped tightly around herself. There were dozens of people passing by, glancing for a moment, then looking away quickly, as if making eye contact would make her pain their responsibility, and I almost did the same. My feet actually kept moving for a few steps before something inside me said, "Stop," so I stopped. I stood there for a second, debating. I didn't know her. I didn't know what to say. Part of me was scared she'd yell at me to leave her alone, that I'd make things worse. But another part of me, the part that remembered how many nights I'd wished for someone, anyone, to notice I was falling apart, made me turn around. I slowly walked back, took a deep breath, and sat down next to her on the cold sidewalk. I didn't touch her. I didn't ask what was wrong. I just said softly, "Hey, you don't have to go through this alone." At first, she didn't move. Then, like a dam breaking, she started sobbing. Her shoulders shook as she told me her father had died that morning. She had been wandering the streets for hours, not knowing where to go, until she just sat down because she couldn't keep walking. I didn't know what to say, so I just stayed. I listened. I let her cry. And after what felt like forever, she finally looked at me and whispered, "I prayed for someone to be here tonight. Thank you." Those words hit me like a punch to the chest. She didn't know me. I didn't know her. But for that moment, I was the answer to someone's prayer, and it changed me. Asterisk the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I couldn't stop replaying that moment. How close I had been to just walking past her. How easy it would have been to stay in my own world and keep moving. And that terrified me, because it made me wonder, how many other people had I walked past? How many other chances had I missed to be there for someone who desperately needed someone to see them? So I made myself a promise. I would stop walking past people. The very next day, I noticed the girl at work who never spoke much. She always kept her head down, ate lunch alone. Normally, I would have just minded my own business. But this time, I brought her a cup of coffee and said, "Thought you might need this today." She looked startled, almost confused, then smiled, and I swear, that one small smile felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. Later, she told me she had been having the worst week of her life, and that simple gesture made her feel like maybe she wasn't invisible after all. I started doing more of these little things, calling friends I hadn't talked to in months, checking in on people, even with just a "hey, thinking of you," smiling at strangers, actually listening when I asked someone how they were, and something started happening to me. 2. I realized that the heaviness I'd been carrying, the stress, the sadness, the feeling of being alone didn't feel quite so crushing anymore. It wasn't that my problems disappeared. The bills were still there. The challenges were still there, but I didn't feel so powerless. Because every time I reached out to someone else, I reminded myself that I could make a difference. One night, I got a message from the girl I'd sat with on the curb. She wrote, "You have no idea how much that night saved me." I was ready to give up, but because you stayed, I didn't. I just stared at that message for a long time. My chest ached, and I thought, what if I had kept walking? Now, every time I leave my house, I remind myself, tonight, someone might be praying for a sign. Someone might be waiting for a reason to believe that life can still be good, and maybe, just maybe, I get to be that reason. Being the answer to someone's prayer doesn't always look big or dramatic. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's a text that says, "Hey, I'm here if you need me." Sometimes it's just sitting quietly with someone so they don't feel alone. You don't need to fix their problems. You don't need to have all the right words. You just need to care enough to stop, to notice, to be there. Because that moment, that single moment, could be the one that keeps them going. And here's the thing, when you do that, it changes you too. It reminds you that even when you feel small, even when your own life feels messy and broken, you still have the power to bring light into someone's darkness. I will never forget that girl's tear-stained face, or the way she whispered, "Thank you for being here." And maybe tonight, someone out there is waiting for you. So don't rush past people. Look up, notice them. Offer a smile, a kind word, a little bit of your time. Because you never know, you could be the answer they were praying for. And in giving them hope, you just might find your own.